Alrighty peeps, so today's video is a little bit exciting because we're going to be talking about this series in today's video. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So in today's video I want to talk about the series Go Dog Go on Netflix. I noticed it's not very well talked about, and I think it's a TV show that is worth mentioning, especially on a multi-fandom account, So, I watched this series a good little while ago. Now, I never really finished it because I just did not have the time to, but I will definitely make sure I finish it for sure. I think I'm on season 3 of it now, because there are 4 short seasons, and no, there's 3 short seasons. So there's 3 short seasons of the show, and I just got finished halfway through the second season. So I'm halfway through the second season of this series, and my thoughts on it are I enjoy it quite a bit, actually, especially for a kids show. It's definitely one I recommend, especially if you're looking for something for a cartoon that isn't really well talked about, isn't really dived into very, very much, because there wasn't. This is one of those shows that, it exists, but it doesn't really have a fan base for it, and that's something I've noticed. And it was like that for a lot of 90s shows too. It's just what surprised me was this show was in the 2020s, and it's nobody really noticed it. It flew under the radar for a couple of years, and then they dived it down. It's they got to the point where, okay, there's not really a fan base for this show, so we may just not even continue it, and that was kind of hard. It kind of went down. It kind of went down the Care Bears route, where it was no, there's not really much. We're just doing it to sell toys, and it is what it is, it's just weird how you notice with some shows, you have some shows have this thing where they thrive and survive for years and years and years and years and years. Like Paw Patrol's a good example, how it gone on for 14 seasons. We're talking a show that went on longer than and I thought My Little Pony Friendship is Magic was really, really long with 9 straight seasons. No, that we have obviously apparently Paw Patrol is now king, of the lengthy series franchise phenomenon right now. Apparently that show is sitting at the throne right now. And what's baffling is I come across other shows that are really, really good, but never really grew into anything. There are some shows I've seen that are 2 seasons long that have a decent story to me or catch my attention, quite easily. And this was one of those shows that caught my attention quite easily. It caught my attention, but yet it didn't have nothing much came out of it, and it kind of flopped in a way, during its debut. So there was only 3 short seasons, and I think it's one of those shows that's Netflix is yeah, it's there, but we're probably not going to do anything else with it until we get some kind of a fan base going on for it or something. I think they're just waiting on fan service for it. It's one of those shows. It's it fell down the same rabbit hole as 101 Dalmatian Street, which I will talk about that later on in another video. But 101 Dalmatian Street went down. It's the same premise. It's one of those shows that now everybody loves. Everyone wants to love this show now. It's but yet the show died off several years ago because it originally debuted in the UK and out in Australia, but it never made it over to the States. I think that's kind of the same premise with Go Dog Go. It's kind of one of those kids shows that's it entered the United States strongly, but could not go to a worldwide basis. And the way, and it's coming from the way I'm seeing it, it was probably started out really, really well here in the U.S. on Netflix US, but did not go out anywhere else. because it was not that big of a success. So my overall rating for the series is an 8 out of 10. So I give it an 8 out of 10 rating, and that's because I hold my heart. The biggest part of my heart is for kids shows. Now a lot of you are going, oh, but you gave Mating Season a 7 out of 10. Well, the thing with Mating Season was an adult show. Okay, that's an adult animated show, and like I stated before in that video, there's a lot of potential for that show. That show does hold a lot of potential, and like I said, I'm waiting for the next season for that, definitely. Now with GDG, or Go Dog Go, I nicknamed it GDG for short, but with GDG, it's like one of those shows that started off strongly in the United States but didn't go anywhere else. It kind of fell into the same rabbit hole as 101 Dalmatian Street did back in the late 2000s, in like 2012, because that show came out in 2012. And it was supposed to debut on Disney XD, and not GDG, but 101 Dalmatian Street was supposed to air on Disney XD through the United States, and it just didn't. Their budget fell off, and they couldn't sell anything over. And I feel that most likely could have happened with GDG. The whole premise of GDG was probably the show was there, the show had a hook, the show was coming on strong, but yet it wasn't strong enough. And I noticed that's with a lot of kids shows on Netflix nowadays anyway. It's like they're thrown in as fillers, and then when those fillers don't really succeed or go anywhere, they stop making them. And I would always go, oh, but there hasn't been episodes since 2023 and all that. I was thinking that way. The same thing with obviously with Care Bears as well, which I will dive into Care Bears later on in a different video, but that is definitely on my vlog list. But this show kind of fell on the same premise where I go, oh, there hasn't been an episode in so-and-so. When is there going to be another episode? My mind was always like, when is there going to be another episode of said show, right? Especially if I fall into it, because I fall into cartoons quite easily. But this is one of those things where it's like, if you've gone a year without seeing an episode and there's nothing left, 6 months is one thing, because 6 months usually means they're planning something in silence and they just don't want to tell you. But if you're going a year or more, and this is just my tip for any new multi-fandom creators out there like me that are diving into YouTube and doing show reviews and stuff like that, video vlogs on your favorite topics or what have you, if the show goes an entire year without production or without anything being said about it, it usually means the show has died. Unfortunately, as painful as it is to sound, it means the show is officially in the RIP stage. It's not coming back. It means that there's no budget there, or there's nothing. It means either nothing's going on and the team has moved on to better things in life, or it means that the money is no longer there to work on said show, so they had to lay everybody off. You know what I'm saying? Usually it's usually in the form of dead silence, where if the show goes on at least a year or longer without any word whatsoever, it's done. It means it's done. It's not. It actually means it's done. Sometimes you will hear things in a year, hey, we held back on this, but we're working on this, but if you go at least a year and you check that feed for that show and there's nothing, then unfortunately it means that that show has officially hit the bed. Unfortunately, it's not coming back. That's usually what it means. So, and I think that's kind of the premise with GDG right now. Is it's been a couple years since they've made an episode, and since it's been a couple years, I have my doubts it'll return. If it does return, that'll surprise the heck out of me for sure. But I'm gonna try to keep it in my library just in case. But this is one of those shows that I don't think's returning. I think it's one of those shows that had its strengths but wasn't strong enough. And Netflix decided to cut the cord on it. But overall, I think it's a great show. Something great for the kids to watch, most definitely, if they're new to cartoons and they haven't really and they love 3D animation. Like, I love 3D animated cartoons too, and honestly, I think with how far 3D and Ultra HD has come along, I mean, it's so good that we literally can carry it in our pockets right now. I mean, I'm literally carrying I'm carrying a 2K phone, right? A phone that records in 2K, which is technically 1080p Ultra HD. I have Ultra HD right here in my pocket to do my YouTube videos with. So, Ultra HD has progressed so well nowadays to where now you can literally just take your phone out and record a YouTube video. I mean, a phone and an external microphone like what I got here, and just record YouTube videos. Technology has advanced so well now that when I saw the graphics and the 3D artwork and the graphics of this show, I actually enjoyed every minute of it. Now, I did do some research and have seen on Twitter that people were freaking out about the show being AI-generated stuff. Now, I can necessarily debunk that because the show came out, I think, 2 years prior to this AI epidemic. I've even had, people tell me, on Discord, like, hey, I think the images of the show were AI generated. Could you help me debunk this? I said, yeah. If you look at, the goal is if you look at the year when the show came out, and something in me says, like I said, with this whole AI epidemic, people are freaking out that Hollywood is going to go as far as using AI in television shows and whatnot. I highly doubt that. I 100% highly doubt that, because if we replace everybody with AI, and I think Hollywood's when we had those recent protests, I feel like Hollywood's learned a valuable lesson. Like, if we replace our actors, our writers, and whatnot with AI, people will notice. And I think so long as people notice the difference between AI versus real work, like, I'm gonna let you know now, my videos obviously aren't AI generated. I'm talking to you. I have a lazy eye that, if you look at my lazy eye, as creepy as it looks, AI can't replicate that. The room I'm sitting in is real. Obviously, I put this room together myself. I even got, I got Stitch hanging out in the background behind me. And that. Now, I don't even know if that's AI generated or not. I love it. Honestly, I think that's a printout from Disney and somebody was just reselling it. But I got Stitch chilling behind me. This room can't be replicated. And if you just type in, I'm sure if you just type in what this room looks like, it probably could. But you would have to have an exact photo if you're going to replicate anything with AI, properly. But for me, I like, but I don't like AI. Okay, meaning I'm not saying in the sense I support it, but saying in the sense that I've accepted it, because it's one of those things that people are just going to use regardless, no matter what we say, as much as I don't want them to. Okay, because it's just crazy. It's just to me, the reason I don't really care too much about it is because this is just a fad. It's just a technology fad, and it's just one of those technology fads that'll die off eventually. It's like auto-tune, where everybody freaked out about auto-tune. I don't even know why I'm comparing it to that. I don't even think that's the comparison for it. At least auto-tune didn't kill the planet. Okay, that's all I can say is auto-tune didn't murder the planet. But what I'm saying is I have faith that AI, especially Gen AI, not so much like AI as far as healthcare is concerned, like helping with cancers and stuff, and that was the original reason why AI was created, was to help detect it was to help detect cancers faster, and now it's gone off to becoming generative AI, and now all of a sudden everybody wants to use generative AI because society has gotten really, really lazy. I'm not perfect because, I mean, look at my size, look at my body size. You literally got a 300-pound man yelling at you. Okay, so I'm not perfect either. But the premise is, I don't mind people using AI, but I would never use it in my own stuff, and I don't even pay for it. You know, I'd rather not. Why should I pay for something that's murdering the planet? You know what I'm saying? Why would I? And plus, honestly, I get better results on my videos with using Canva and now CapCut is one thing. You know, if you're using it to edit videos or like make edits in your videos, or if you're using it for like Canva where you're graphic designing, you know, these tools are different stories. I mean, I don't even use the AI for that. I do my graphic designs using templates. You know, I use pre-made templates for my thumbnails and stuff, and I just do minor edits to these templates and call it a day. You know, I like using Canva because Canva saves me time. You know, that's the only reason I use it. I mean, making a thumbnail from scratch is annoying. Okay, and I'll be sitting for 2 hours making a thumbnail from scratch. You know, and that's the only reason I use like Canva and CapCut. CapCut's great for, you know, making my vlogs. You know, these things make my vlogs easier to make. You know, they make my videos easy to make. That's the only reason I pay for those and use those. But I don't use the AA features or none of that on them. I really don't, because I don't like the idea of the AI features, because it doesn't produce good results. You know, people want to show off their AI art and all this other stuff, but that doesn't produce good results. Okay. Now I'm gonna dive more into AI in another topic, but we're gonna go back to GDG. So GDG, in my opinion, was just one of those shows that started off strong, and it just, like I said, just ended off with, you know, getting cut to the banner. You know. And it went down the same premise as, you know, 101 Dalmatian Street, you know. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, peace out, stay awesome.